Hey, speaking of fights not happening, are we getting a big fight? So, any Shawn, we getting a big fight?
What fight?
Plant Canelo. Are we getting it? What's going on?
Oh, I thought you were talking about Terrence. I was like,
No, we're not talking about that.
Ant with like the most vague, like, hey, are we getting the fight? It's like,
no, that's a big fight.
The first one that came to mind was Wilder Fury.
Damn, everybody has something else.
Because you get the vague ass statement.
Hey, man, that's a big fight. Canelo Plant.
That's a big fight, man. We obviously we all want to see it.
It sucks if we lose it.
Yeah.
And you never know how negotiations actually happen. The fact that Caleb pretty much was like, I have the receipts makes me, I believe Caleb naturally because we know Caleb, but usually you don't say, hey, I have the paperwork or I have the receipts if you don't have those and you're on shaky ground. But yeah, it seems like they went into it and were pretty much saying, hey, that works. I'm good with this. I'm good with that. And then at some point it just got a little too ridiculous with the request, kind of the Cliff Notes version.
On my behalf, I don't know nothing about the business of boxing. Right. I want Canelo. No matter what you offer me, I would have signed it. But then again, I don't know the business of boxing.
Right.
Yeah. So this is just a fan speaking. So
right.
I could be like, Anthony, you don't know what the fuck they're offering.
But I'm happy you said that, Ant, because you're a fan, and that's at the end of the day, Yeah. But and so, irregardless of the receipts that Carson's talking about, and we could get into whether did Canelo really demand too much, and I know some people will say yes, some people say no, but irregardless of all of that, the way it's going to come off to the fan, to the boxing fan, the casual fan, whomever considers themselves a fan of boxing, is it's going to look bad on Caleb Plant because of what Ant just said. Is you mean $10 million and you didn't get in the ring and fight him? Who cares what else his demands were? And when one guy has fought, and I like Caleb Plant, I was the guy on here saying he's going to be a lot tougher than a Billy Joe Saunders. I've been in the media rooms with media members telling them that, and they try to play it down. Mm-hmm. But that said, when one man has fought the best fighters in the world, a dozen or so of them, from Cotto to the Golovkin to Mayweather to Lara to Jake.
His resume is crazy.
Yeah.
It is his word against your word. And in this case, he's the police with the badge. Right. He's the one with even if it's right or wrong, his word's going to win out.
Caleb even more now.
But you get the metaphor I'm going with course. There is whether it's right or wrong, his word's going to defeat yours because of the certification he has, because of his resume and his accomplishments. And by the way, if he turns this way and fights Dimitri Bivol, I don't know if that's an easier fight. That's a tougher fight. Yeah.
I'm like, Shawn keeps saying this is not an easy fight. Everybody's like, he's just going to fight this easy fight. I'm like, everything I've been hearing is like, this is a tough fight.
That's
him taking a tougher fight or the same level of fight for less money, which allows you to say, well, what are you doing, Canelo? Why would you want to fight this guy for less money who's just as tough and move up 7 pounds? So I get it. There's a lot to be said, but I made my point, I guess, along the fans.
I don't want to see. I don't mind the Bivol fight. Like we said, that's by no means an easy fight. The weight, I don't know where they would land on that. I think there was even some discussion of Bivol would go to 68. But I don't want to see Triple G and Canelo again. I just don't.
No,
and
I don't.
I know people feel differently about that. Some people are like, hell yeah, it's a great fight. Like still, I'm like, nah, I don't care. I don't care to see that at all.
Yeah, I think Canelo stops Triple G these days.
Yeah, Triple G hasn't looked good recently. Like he's looked okay.
Problem with that is to the casual fan, they know Triple G.
Right.
And to them, it's Canelo Triple G3. Yeah. And they lack the context we have. That Golovkin's got older, he hasn't looked as good. And to them, it's just Canelo Triple G3. So it's still a sellable fight.
I mean,
but I'd rather see Plant.
What else do we got? Charlo, I don't know.
But if he's not going to do business with Plant, he's not going to fight Benavidez or Charlo either.
Yeah, it's like, well, I'm not doing business with PBC ever again, almost.
That would be terrible for us because all the big fight, all the real fights we want to see him in.
All this shit is terrible for us already. We're already hurt. Okay, we're already hurt. Get the deal done. Talking to all y'all.
Yeah. It's just it's one of those. You talk about it just being bad for all of us. Like, I mean, everyone wants to see that fight. Like, even people that don't think maybe Caleb's that guy or that Caleb will test them. Like, people want to see the fight, and Canelo has been ringing this unification, undisputed thing, and then you have the opportunity to, and maybe you do too much in negotiations. I don't know. I hope somehow this is like the Undertaker and rises up out of the coffin and makes it happen. But
next Saturday and next week it's going to be official, Carson. Next week, it's official. So?
I'm down.
No,
and they don't got to fight in September. Like Canelo hasn't fought in September since 2018 against Triple G.
Yeah.
So if it's a matter of there's not enough time left between, it's like, man, y'all just push that shit back to November then.
Yeah.
If that's what it takes, if you need more time to get a deal done.
Hey, Shawn, only if it was that easy.
Yeah. Only if it was that easy.
Could this end up being what you? So when we talked about Caleb before, where we said maybe there's a go between from where he's fought Truax, Uzcategui, those guys.
Mike Lee, baby.
Well, now do you see him maybe fight Anthony Durrell, which is something that was kind of bantered about? Is it maybe now the opportunity you wanted isn't there, the opportunity we wanted wasn't there, but now in the long run it might be better because now he can maybe fight somebody like Anthony Durrell. I think that's a good fight.
I think
not great, but good.
It seems to me, I'm on the outside looking in, very far on the outside, from the outside looking in. And to me, it seems like when the negotiations and the fight falls apart and it's not directly your fault, then when you move forward and you have another fight, there's really no ill or no heavy eyes looking at you, opposed to if you denied the fight, you turned down the fight with Canelo to have a fight with Anthony Durrell, or to have a fight with, one of the other 168s out there. I think this way, there's nothing that makes Caleb look bad. And think having the opportunity to say, okay, we'll come back to this when things are better for us. If that is the conversation that's had collectively, I think that's a good move. And I think that makes it sounds better. It's good for him because it does afford him an opportunity to get in the ring with somebody else. He is coming from an injury, get whatever cobwebs out, get back in the ring and get back seen by the public eye and things like that. And maybe another performance would spark a fight with Canelo more than it's been sparked to this point. Yeah. To this point, it's just the fact that he has the IBF title, and there's no disrespect, but if he does something great, whether that is Anthony Durrell or another 168 out there, and he's able to, hold both arms out and say, hey, I'm ready. If you didn't think I was ready, what about now? Nobody can deny that then, So I think it's a good situation for him.
And negotiations if they don't come to fruition, it's not always contentious. Like if Ant and I negotiate about something right now, we don't come to an agreement. That's not to say Ant and I hate each other, won't work together. Like sometimes things just don't line up at that time. So
I think we all. But I think, and us being human, when we see something fall apart, it's just like if the chair falls apart, you're looking at it, you're like, oh no. Well, if you take your time, you figure out what fell apart and you start to build it back up, you got a brand new chair right there and it works, So I think we as humans, we just kind of, when we hear the news or we see the news, we instantly go to, oh no, it's never going to happen again. Well, maybe they'll just take their time and they'll build up that chair again and it'll be much stronger the next time they build it up.
And I was thinking a good way for PBC to build up this fight. What about Benavidez fighting Caleb's?
There's people who want to see that fight more than Canelo and Canelo and Benavidez.
Yeah, his former opponents. And if Caleb fights Durrell, that's one of David's former opponents.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Get this in the early spring. Winner gets Canelo. That's an even bigger fight.
Yeah.
I'll pay $200 to see that fight.
I'll
give double the pay-per-view.
There's a way to look at it, like Ant said. There's a way to look at it as a positive of positioning and how it could end up. Just the money might make more sense and the hype and everything. But
and I wanted to say that about the business side of it. When we talk about negotiations, I think everybody's mind goes straight to the money and thinks that that's all that's involved, but it's not. You negotiating the network that you're going to fight on, the specific day that you're going to fight on. Now you got to negotiate the venue that you're going to fight at, and fight purses and sponsor money and endorsement and all that kind of stuff. And it becomes a long negotiation. But the best part about it is you're having these negotiations. I mean, you could not be having these negotiations or have somebody not doing this type of work for you. And what does that say about you as a fighter? You haven't made it, you know. So for the negotiations to be there, and hopefully they come through, if not sooner. I think that benefits Caleb Plant. I do think that he won't lose to anyone before he gets in the ring with Canelo. I think the fight with Benavidez, yes, is like a great, phenomenal fight. I think that's one of those fights that whoever wins that fight separates himself and goes on to fight Canelo. But outside of Benavidez, I don't really see too many people out there that can beat Caleb Plant. So it's about him being healthy and producing.
Well, along the lines of what Carson said about him getting a chance to build his skills and his name. I mean, all along, people really have wanted to see him and David fight to earn that Canelo fight. And, you know, we might be here a year from now and Plant Canelo is really a super fight as compared to a big fight because maybe he beats a David Benavidez in the spring. And now, because whoever wins that fight is going to be a star.
I do want to see that fight.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
That could turn into a 60-40 split.
Some bad blood in that fight.
I want to see that fight.
Contrasting style.
Unbelievable. Yeah. I'm excited.
I pay big money for that fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Double the pay-per-view price. I'll do it.
What's up? I'm Showtime Shawn Porter.
I'm Ant. Follow me on IG, Ant with 2 T's. Let's do it. Let's do it again.
Just introduce yourself.
Okay.
And then you tell them what to do. I'm Showtime Shawn Porter.
I'm Anthony Brenagh.
Carson A. Merk. Like, subscribe, comment.
This is the Porter Way.